President Trump has increased tariffs on Canadian goods from 25% to 35%, marking yet another painful escalation in the US-Canada trade war. On top of that, he's preparing to slap a 40% tariff on goods suspected of being transshipped, which is when goods are sent to one country as a stopover, then redirected to the US to avoid tariffs, duties, or trade restrictions. Meanwhile, key exports like aluminum, steel, and copper are now getting hammered with 50% tariffs, making trade with the US nearly impossible. And if that wasn't enough, Trump is also ending the de minimis exemption for cross-border shipments under $800 starting August 29th, which means Canadian businesses selling affordable goods to US consumers will now face tariffs and additional red tape at customs. This will crush e-commerce brands and small manufacturers, forcing many to drastically cut back or abandon the US market entirely. To be clear, this hits the little guy the hardest. So why is this happening? While the White House continues to blame Canada for failing to stop fentanyl and other illicit drugs from crossing the northern border, despite Canada adding $1.3 billion in border security and appointing a fentanyl czar to combat trafficking. This is also a response to Canada's retaliatory tariffs and their recognition of the Palestinian state, which, according to Trump, only added fuel to the fire and makes it very hard to negotiate a trade deal with Canada. Now, look, it's clear that Trump has the big stick here, but both sides have mismanaged this dispute, trading blame and escalating tariffs instead of negotiating solutions, and the real victims are Canadian businesses and consumers facing higher costs, reduced market access, and economic uncertainty. What's worse, this could drag on for months or even years, further damaging Canada's economy, stalling growth, and driving us into a recession or depression while keeping interest rates high. The escalating trade war serves no one and only raises urgent questions like, what exactly is going on behind closed doors? Because Canadians are getting zero transparency or insight as to how this crisis is being managed. Why are our leaders failing to protect Canadian interests while other nations negotiate trade deals? Do they have some of their own interests that are more important, or are they just completely incompetent? And finally, how do we stop this train before our government drives it right off the tracks, irreparably harming our economy and our future? Because if we don't correct course on many of Canada's problems imminently, there won't be anything left worth saving.